Hello and welcome to another episode of Mad Dialogue with me, Michelle.
Me, Skylar.
I hope everybody is doing really, really well this week. As usual, I'm just going to jump straight into it. So it came to my knowledge after watching a video this week that they actually can perform now uterus transplants. Now, I know that they can perform various transplants, but I was surprised to know that they could do this procedure. Now, apparently, they take from a donor who is living or deceased, and obviously, people carry organ donor cards, so that upon their demise, their organs can be used. But I just think it's a bit strange that they take it from somebody who's living. Now, this procedure, they say that they take a small part, or they take the whole, how do I put it? Okay. It says the uterus is removed from either a living or deceased donor. For living donors, this is an intricate surgery, often taking 6 to 10 hours, that requires careful dissection to preserve the major blood vessels, uterine arteries and veins, and a small cuff of vaginal tissue. The surgeons place the donor uterus into the recipient's pelvis during a 6 to 8 hour procedure. It's basically, the key steps include vascular anastomosis, connecting the uterine's blood vessels to the recipient's, vaginal connection, attaching the donor's vaginal cuff to the top of the recipient's, and structural support using the donor's ligaments. I just find this amazing. Like, first of all, why would a living woman want to?
There's quite a few that don't want their wombs, don't want their uteruses, that don't want children, that just don't really care about it. And I find like there is quite a few younger females as well now who don't really want it.
So it says all babies from transplanted uteri are delivered via C-section to avoid stress on the surgical connections. After 1 or 2 surgical births, a hysterectomy is performed to remove the donor uterus so the recipient can stop taking anti-rejection medication. So then, do they reuse it?
What do you mean reuse what?
Well, they remove it. They remove the whole uterus. Do you know what I mean? So that the patient or the recipient can cease taking anti-rejection medications. So they can use it like once or twice, and then they remove it from the woman. Don't you think this is crazy work?
Yeah,
I'm not being funny, right? It's kind of giving it like Frankenstein shit. Yeah, it's weird.
It feels a bit fucked up because I think is that not in a bad way, but in, like, I mean this with all respect, but if your body isn't allowing you to do that, there's other routes that you can take. There's surrogacy, there's
children that need adopting.
Yeah, but this is what I'm saying, there's many children that need adopting, and once again, though, if you want your own child, there is surrogacy, that's an option. I think, all the time you hear about sisters and mothers and cousins stepping up and having children for women that are unable to. So in my mind, I understand, like, it is something that a lot of women like long for, to be pregnant with their child. However, I just think of all these complications and everything, not only are you putting your life at risk, but if you're carrying a child in that same uterus, you're putting your child's life at risk. I also believe that energy is a big thing, and you don't know whose uterus you're receiving and what trauma is attached to them, and so many other things. And I just think, like, me personally, I could never see myself doing something like this if I needed to, so to speak. But it's just like, it's insane to me, and especially just with everything that comes with it, I just think, why would you want to take the risks over something so that there's ways around, you know what I mean?
100%.
I just, it seems very
But the thing about it is a uterus transplant costs approximately 25 to 30,000 in the UK for the operation alone, but there are other costs that come into it. you know. And then it's also that thing, just like any recipient of a donor's organs, no matter what the organ is, there's always that chance of rejection. And I know they mentioned anti-rejection medication, but sometimes even that may not work. So how,
I just think it's a big
I
thing
would
to
really love
do.
to talk to somebody that's had this
And
procedure.
I also think, obviously, somebody getting their uterus removed for this procedure for somebody else to receive it, by the sounds of it, is very different to a hysterectomy. The fact that it takes, what was it, 6 to 10 hours or something.
Yes.
Because I just feel like, obviously, with the hysterectomy, like, it's obviously they're still removing it, but it seems that the way the uterus obviously needs to be preserved, like, it's a whole different sort of surgery. And I just think, yeah, like, for that aspect of it, I just think that's a lot to put your body through for the person who's donating this as well, you know what I mean? And then I also, like, I know they take organs from people all the time that are organ donors, but I just think the thought of, like, once again, and maybe this sounds really horrible, but it's just my opinion, but the thought of a dead person's uterus being inside you, I mean, do you want a baby that bad that that sounds okay? I just don't think I could live with, like, I don't know. Like, it's one thing with organs that people actually need, and the fact that, yeah, like, that's a system that's set up. But I think for a uterus, that's it's not a necessary organ. You know what I mean? So
Mm.
to allow yourself to take it from a dead person, I think, I don't know. Like, maybe it's just me, but that just makes my body feel a bit weird. Like, you know.
Well, I came across, funny, I came across this way before I found the video on, a uterus transplant. And basically, in China, they have, it says, women no longer needed in China. Scientists have created an android capable of carrying a child from conception to birth instead of a woman. The fetus will develop in an artificial womb with a simulated umbilical cord and amniotic fluid, receiving all the necessary nutrients. The first of these devices are expected to be released this year. And it said, I saw, well, this says with a starting price of around 14,000, but I saw another article where it said it would sell for up to 100,000.
Mm, yeah.
Okay, so I guess, what is it, like the highest bidder? I find this in particular
Mm,
very concerning because it sort of brings me back to the Cabbage Patch
yeah, most definitely.
dolls that we did. So is this the new era of it? Because they would have X amount of robots and producing X amount of babies on
Mm,
rotation.
yeah.
And what are we producing all these babies for?
No, for real though, and I think overpopulation is already a problem. So
Exactly.
why add to it with?
And
Yeah, I
and
know
then
your
and then I
point.
think to myself, how, because as much as the robot can carry the baby, let's say, there's still no emotion. There's no, do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
Unless they're going to simulate the, like, like when the baby can hear the mother's voice, but those are the only things that they would be able to simulate. But it's almost like the baby, so to speak, would be an empty vessel.
yeah.
Like, no, it wouldn't have no soul.
It does seem really weird, and I just think the world's becoming a bit too far gone, and it's making my stomach hurt a bit because I don't understand the obsession. Like, we already have IVF, we already have things like this to help people who can't produce their children a natural way. So why do we have to further that by making it like robots that can carry babies? Like, it just doesn't seem right, and I think it's fucked up. I don't think it's something that's necessary. And yeah, like, maybe people can argue because it's not an issue I experienced, that's why I don't view it necessary. But I don't. I just think it's fucked up. Like, yeah, my child was carried by a robot.
I guess for some
Oh,
people it would be convenient. They could still get on with their life knowing that their baby is
isn't
being.
there a Black Mirror on this?
Do you know?
It was an egg, wasn't it?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I was just about to say that there was a film where they did that, and they used the egg, but the man became attached to the egg anyway. Do you know what I mean? And still felt compelled to nurture the egg where she didn't feel it that much. I don't know. It was weird. I think she was trying to comply with the whole program, but he wasn't. And in the end, they went rogue, didn't they? And I remember they basically prized the egg open because it was due to be hatched then.
Mm.
And then, there they had the baby type thing. But it was a weird concept, but not as weird as what you think because it's happening.
But this is what I'm saying. I think if anything that's in a Black Mirror episode you're seeing come to fruition, then maybe we should be a bit concerned.
Or exactly Black Mirror-esque, because I
Yeah.
don't think it was Black Mirror,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
it gave that energy. But yeah,
So
the
dystopian.
world is lost.
I just
The world
yeah,
is
it's beyond
completely
weird.
lost because, like you said, I don't see the need for a uterus transplant. I really don't.
Like
I really don't. That scares me. And I don't see the need for the robots. It's like this. If it's not broke, don't fix it. Because like you say, there's other procedures that people can use if they are struggling to have
and
children.
it can't be a money thing because well, look at the prices of these robots and look at the prices of uterus transplants. If anything, it costs more than anything else. So
Yeah.
I think it's really just a thing there of either people being a bit extra, maybe, or just like I don't know, like.
I
But
want to be the
obviously
ones to say they
did
tried it first. Yeah.
and that's fine. Like obviously each to their own in it, but just based on my opinion, yeah, I do think both are quite
I wonder how many people would
excessive.
actually admit that they've had, or how many women would admit that they've had that procedure, because it is really drastic.
Yeah, but the fact that to even for it to be used basically and then to have it
Once or
removed.
twice.
So obviously by saying that, yes, have two children then basically and then give it back. Like I just don't understand, and I feel like that pregnancy would be full of problems.
Oh my
You can't
goodness,
tell
yeah.
me it wouldn't. You know what I mean? And just why
Yeah.
would you want to put you and your child through that? I think it's selfish. I really think it's selfish. Like I can't sit here and actually weigh that up and be like, you know what? No, that's a selfless act. You know, that is for your benefits only because you want to carry a child. And I'm not saying that every woman shouldn't, be able to experience that. But also sometimes, just sometimes, there's a reason why your body isn't
It's
allowing you to
true.
do certain things. You know what I
It's
mean? Like,
true.
and I'm not saying it's deserved, but you should probably listen to that and seek other options. I just think.
But there was one thing that I really wanted to share because this is my own personal experience and it kind of adds weight to the whole, discussion that we're having here. So, a few years ago, I was suffering terribly with women problems. And so in order to get to the bottom of it, I had to go for a scan at the hospital. And after the scan, the sonographer told me that she'd picked up 3 fibroids that were varying in size. I asked her what would be the next procedure, and without a moment's hesitation, she told me that I would have to have a hysterectomy. She didn't skip a beat. Now, I could say, okay, but when I saw a gynecologist later on, she gave me other options besides the hysterectomy. So I feel that that is what they are told to automatically say to women because, some of the donors are living, but why would you give up your uterus? And I understand what you said. Yes, some women would want it, but there's some women that even with the problems that I was having, I didn't want to give up my uterus. Anyway, I had a conversation with the receptionist at the GP surgery, and in the conversation, because obviously when you're booking the appointment, you have to sort of give them a few keynotes as to what the appointment is about. Anyway, once she got wind of it, she then proceeded to tell me that she had problems such as fibroids, and she had 2 other conditions. I think one was
endometriosis.
Thank you. And I can't remember what the other one was. And she said that she was done having children, and she begged them to begged them to remove hers, and they wouldn't do it. Now, is that because they saw less value in her uterus? Because
you fixed yours, so
I fixed mine, obviously, but I mean, is it something like, they could have fixed?
That's what I'm saying. Like,
once they'd given me the hysterectomy, in order then because that's all they would have to do.
Yeah,
is remove them, and then they could have implanted it into another woman.
Maybe, like,
because when you look into it, a lot of women are offered hysterectomies. I'm just putting it out there without saying it. Do you know what I'm saying? That's all I'm saying. And so I'm just going to leave it there with that one. So, ladies, take proper care of your uteruses because they're clearly worth a lot of money in this respect. Do you know what I mean? Like, and they're needed, they're wanted. And yeah, that's kind of scary. That is scary to me. But yeah, we'll leave it there. Anyway, thank you so much for joining us. As always, I'm sending an abundance of love and light. It's goodbye from me, Michelle, and goodbye from Skylar.
Bye.
Bye.